Boise State versus Washington in the LA Bowl, aka the Gronk Bowl. Washington favored by 9.5 on FanDuel. Over under set at 52.5. I have mixed feelings about this. They're playing this bowl very early, but I like it because I think it's going to offer for not very many opt-outs. I think it's going to offer the
Mm,
players to be able to play one more time and get some more tape out there if they do decide to transfer or anything like that. And if there are any NFL guys on this, I know Boise State has at least a couple on their team. Washington obviously has some as well. But if they have some guys who are kind of hopeful NFL draft guys, this is going to give them some more time to finish up their season and really get into training for that. So
mm.
while I don't like it's on the same weekend of Navy Army, there's some real positives to this, Zach. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, it is interesting. I mean, there's a pretty big break after this though with bowl games. And I get it, like, because you have the first round of the playoffs. So you get like a little appetizer and then the first round and then all of bowl week. I honestly, what I would have loved, and this is I think part of the playoff, realignment that we need to talk about. The first round should be this weekend and then bowl games. And then the second round is the following weekend. Home playoff games, and then more bowl games up until New Year's. And then the bowl sites are the semifinals, and then the national championship games like January 10th. Like that's what it should be. But I'll take football. I'll take football Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. There's going to be a world where we have less of these bowl games at some point. So, as far as I'm concerned, cherish them, love them, for all the wackiness and craziness that they are. Because if we're going to be honest, college football is one of its most peak college football of what we've seen in the past during bowl season, right?
Mhm.
Brett Bielema, Shane Beamer last year. I mean, there were other games of
Beautiful.
backups. Damon Williams last year getting his first start. I think it was it against Louisville last year when he got his first start? It was. Yeah, that was really really fun to see a Louisville team not really know what to do against Damon Williams and him just kind of go crazy out there. I mean, it's just really fun stuff, and I like seeing it all. So, talking about this game, Zach, obviously Washington, very kind of hot and cold team this year, playing well at home. Not going to be at home for this one, but Spencer Danielson, the coach of Boise State, he's 24-7 his entire career. Good record, especially at a G5. But he is 0-4 against Power 4 and Notre Dame opponents. Do you think that continues after this game against Washington?
Yeah, it's a good question. So Washington, it does seem like Denzel Boston and Jonah Coleman are going to play. They've been confirmed, I believe, by Jedd Fisch.
Jedd Fisch says he does not expect any opt-outs. He said if they are healthy, even Jacob Manu is supposed to play in this one.
Yeah. Takari Davis is questionable, which he has been throughout the season. So there's a lot of they have a lot of talent coming. They've had some time to get healthy. Like, even though it's a quick turnaround, they essentially had a bye last week. So 2 weeks to kind of get right from that Oregon game. They do have to travel from the north of the Pacific coast to LA. So it's a long travel, but it's not like they're traveling across country. So it's a long flight, but it's not switching time zones or anything like that.
We just saw Washington go down to UCLA and absolutely smack them, right? I mean,
it's
it's
UCLA.
not like it's not just that they go on the road and they're not great because they go on the road. A lot of times it's the travel with the time zones and everything. And like you said, there's not a time zone travel here.
Yeah. So I think Washington will be okay from like all of the struggles that they generally have. Their offense played well against Louisville last year in the bowl game, and they had to travel to El Paso for that one. So I'm not concerned about the travel. I think the other thing is Boise defensively is just okay. And I think we've seen Damon Williams really struggle against really good to elite defenses. So against Ohio State, against Oregon, against Washington or Wisconsin, who has a very good run defense. Boise,
Well coached defense too. I mean, that's another similarity. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, like Boise, they allowed 3 points to Nevada, which I believe Nevada's terrible. Nevada was 3-9. So 3 points to Nevada. They allowed, let's see, 14 to Eastern Washington, FCS school, 14 to App State. Everybody else, or 17 to San Diego State, at San Diego State. Everybody else, they allowed at least 21 points. 21, 24, 21, 30, 31, 25, 28, 37, 34. Like they give up a lot. And yes, they won the Mountain West. They beat UNLV to do that. But again, to your point, they played one power team, and that was Notre Dame at Notre Dame. It was 28-7 Notre Dame. I'm just going to, it was, they did okay in that game, but in the sense that they had similar yardage, but Maddox Madsen threw 4 picks. They couldn't run the ball on Notre Dame. I think they'll be able to run a little bit more on Washington, but I just like Washington's not Notre Dame, but I don't think they're going to be able to do as much against Washington as they did against other teams. And I think Washington can score.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tend to agree. I think that, obviously Ashton Jeanty was a lot for Boise State last year. They also lost a wide receiver to, I believe one of their wide receivers went to USC, Prince, blanking on his full name, but I apologize for that. However, Boise State did lose a number of players, and if we're being honest, the Mountain West was just not the type of football league that you have seen in the past with the Mountain West this season. Boise State did win it, but it was Boise State and UNLV, and UNLV, was fine this season, but it was the first year under Dan Mullen, and I think that's still going to take some more years to kind of get up and going there for what you would expect out of Dan Mullen. So, the only thing that did have me worried at the beginning of this was I know Boise State blitzes like 55% of the time. Like they love to blitz on the defensive side. However, and when Washington faced Michigan, they only scored 7 points. So I was like, okay, well, hold on. Let's go back and watch this a little bit and see, what was Michigan doing with their blitzes? Were they blitzing 55% of the time? Or was that giving Damon Williams a whole lot of flack? It wasn't. Michigan, that was one of their lowest blitzing games of the season. They actually only blitzed 30% of the time in that game. And I think that Wink Martindale knew if you try to pin your ears back too much and go at Damon Williams, he's going to make you pay.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to make them pay in this one. So I'm only picking Washington to win this 31-21. I'm not like picking to be a huge blowout, but I do think I'm being pretty conservative with that pick. I would not be surprised at all if this is a 42-14 game and we just see Washington go off. It's not to say Boise State is a bad team, because Washington does this to even good teams. They did it to Illinois. They can do this to teams, and not necessarily a reflection on you. It's just how hot this Washington team can get.
Yeah. I was trying to see if Boise, do they have any common opponents? Did they play Washington State? No, they didn't.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think I would guess 28-17 is kind of my. So like I think Washington covers. I think it's competitive up until the third quarter.
And I think it says a lot that Washington has all of their guys playing, but Boise State doesn't even know if they have all of theirs. Like Cage Casey and Ty Benefield, those are 2 guys that they're still questionable. At least I haven't seen anything say they are playing yet, so I'm still going to say they're questionable if they're going to opt out or not. And if those guys aren't playing, like those are 2 of the best players on this Boise State team.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anything else on Washington, Boise State?
Nope. I'm excited for it.
It's one of the easier ones to do there. So
I just hope, I hope we get healthy Denzel Boston and healthy Jonah Coleman, because I feel like they have been hurt since halfway point of the season, and I think that's really limited them.
Yes, for sure.